Welcome to English Screen. Let's begin. Emma moved into a small apartment on the second floor of an old brick building. The building was quiet during the day, and the rent was reasonable for the neighborhood. Her first 2 nights there were completely peaceful, and she slept deeply without any problems. Then, on Wednesday night, everything changed. At exactly 2 in the morning, a loud scraping sound came from the ceiling above her bed. It sounded as if someone was dragging heavy furniture across a wooden floor. Emma lay still in the dark, her heart beating a little faster, and listened carefully. The scraping stopped, and then she heard 3 slow, heavy footsteps. Then, silence. She took a deep breath and told herself it was just a neighbor who could not sleep. But the same thing happened on Thursday night at the same time, and then again on Friday night. Each night, the scraping was followed by exactly 3 footsteps, and then perfect silence until morning. Emma thought, I assumed that the person upstairs had a strange and secret habit. She began to imagine all kinds of frightening explanations during her long, sleepless hours. By Saturday, Emma was exhausted, and her imagination was out of control. She told her friend Carlos over coffee that something disturbing was happening in the apartment above hers. She described the scraping, the 3 footsteps, and the sudden silence with wide, worried eyes. Carlos raised an eyebrow and suggested she simply go upstairs and introduce herself. Maybe there was a perfectly normal explanation, he said gently. Emma felt a bit foolish for not considering that, so she decided to follow his advice that afternoon. She climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor with a nervous knot in her stomach. She knocked on the door of apartment 3B and waited, her hands slightly damp. The door opened slowly, and an elderly woman with kind eyes and silver hair smiled at her. Her name was Mrs. Chen, and she invited Emma inside for a cup of tea. The apartment was cozy and filled with books, plants, and framed photographs of family members. Emma noticed something surprising in the corner of the living room right away. There was an old wooden loom for weaving cloth, and a half-finished green blanket was stretched across it. Emma stared at the loom, and a sudden understanding began to form in her mind. She asked Mrs. Chen if she ever used the loom late at night. Mrs. Chen laughed softly and apologized immediately. She explained that her arthritis made it painful to sleep, so she often wove for an hour in the middle of the night. The scraping noise was simply the wooden shuttle sliding back and forth through the threads. The 3 footsteps were just her walking from the loom to the kitchen to make warm milk. Then the silence came because she sat in her armchair to drink the milk before going to bed. The truth was completely ordinary, harmless, and even a little bit sweet. All of Emma's dark theories crumbled into dust in an instant. She felt a wave of embarrassment, but also an enormous feeling of relief. She apologized to Mrs. Chen for letting her imagination run so wild. Mrs. Chen just smiled, patted Emma's hand, and offered her a piece of homemade cake. That night, Emma went to bed with a calm mind and a full stomach.